As requested, here's the video tutorial on how to take an image and change it into a watercolor looking image. So to start, everybody should have saved their watercolor textures and their paper textures. And to review from yesterday, you want to start with File, New. You want it to be in inches, not pixels, and we want it to be about 5 by 7, and we want the pixels per inch to be 150. You'll hit OK. This will create a new document that you'll be working on, and you can add your various layers here. I've already done this, so I'm going to toggle back to the one I've been working on, and you should have your watercolors, paper, and I have a couple different papers selected, and I've changed the blending modes and the opacity to create an interesting effect, as you can see. This one's set to multiply. Here we have pen light, normal, and so on. This gives a nice depth and dimension to your artwork. Now the watercolors are all lumped together, as you can see, and you can make them appear or disappear. And if you want to go ahead and learn how to do that with your paper layer or your watercolor layer, or anytime you just have an overabundance of folders, all you have to do is hold down Shift and select the layers you want to group. Okay, so you're going to select by holding your Shift key, and this will highlight all the layers you want grouped together. You'll come up to the layer panel, and you'll scroll down until you see Group Layers. This helps when you have a significant amount of layers because now it's more organized and tidy. So just a little tip, that's how you group layers, and you can also rename them just like you would anything else by double clicking or clicking. So I'll name this one Paper. And I also have, okay, so now we're going to resize our image. This is going to be my reference photo, and I want you to hit Control T. Well, first off, make sure you are actually on your reference photo layer. Control T. You're going to zoom in or zoom out depending on what you need for your picture. Double click or hit Enter. And what I like to do is always make a copy of my reference just in case I mess up and need to get back to the original. So I'm going to hit right click, duplicate layer. This one I'm going to name, let's name this one Threshold. I want to do that again. And this one I'm going to name Watercolor. Now as it states, watercolor. So what we're going to do is go up to Filter, Artistic, and you'll scroll down to, my mouse isn't working. You'll scroll down to Watercolor. And then from there you can pick how much detail you want. You still want quite a bit of detail, but you can slide it around and pick what you want. I'm going to hit OK. So there is my watercolor filter. I'm going to toggle off the eyeball here, and I'm going to make sure the threshold layer is activated. I'm going to go to Image Adjustments, and we'll want Threshold. You can use your slider to get as much or as little detail as you would like, just depending on your image. And now we have a watercolor filter and a threshold layer. Let's go ahead and drag this threshold layer up over the watercolor layer. And we're going to change the blending option on the threshold layer to multiply or color burn. You can kind of experiment a little bit with that. And let's see. Now we can see the watercolor layer through the threshold layer, but you can play around if you want to and see if you want to change it up. I'm going to go with multiply. Now we're ready to merge a layer down. So you'll right click and merge down one layer. Let's drag the reference underneath the watercolor layer, or you can do the opposite and drag the watercolor layers over the top, whatever works for you. And we want to toggle the eyeball off our reference photo. We're getting close, guys. We're getting close. So now what we want to do is click and add some layer mask. So we want to make sure that our image is selected right here, even though the watercolor layer is on top. And you want to hit Control A. This is going to select everything. Then you're going to hit Control C, which is going to copy everything. The next thing we need to do is create a layer mask. And the layer mask has to go on the watercolor layer. So now click on the watercolor layer, make sure it's highlighted in blue, and go down to layer mask, which is the little square that has a circle inside of it. And that creates another little box that pops up. Well, now we need to hit the Alt key and make sure you click on the inside of the box. Your screen should go white. And we're going to click Control V, Control I. Control I inverts the colors. So now we have kind of a funky looking image here. We're going to click back on the layer now, and we should have a watercolor effect poking through. Now it's time to drag the paper on top of everything. But we want to be able to see our image we just created, so we're going to have to change the blending mode again. And you can use linear burn or multiply. Let's see what we want to use. You can change some of the opacity back if you want. On the paper. I think I'm going to go with multiply. And there you have it, a watercolor image.